All right, Jim, well, let's get to some questions here on the drive-thru. We have had a lot to review, and it's now time for questions, as I said before.
Yes, I think you mentioned that. You brought that up in no uncertain terms.
Jim, this first question was emailed to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Kenny in Calgary, Alberta. Hello. I don't know if this has been asked before. I had just one question. Why did Ric Flair never wear his knee pads on his knees? He always wore knee pads, but I've never seen him in a match with them actually on his knees. Just curious, maybe you would know the reason.
And if you notice, Dennis Condrey was the same way. His were almost on his shins rather than with the knee cap centered in the middle of the pad, which you would think, but it depended on the way the guy dropped a knee or went to his knees. And it's hard to explain, but sometimes, like on Flair's, the leaping knee drop that he got from Harley Race, where he comes right down within a scant millisecond of your forehead, right? But on the other knee is the one taking the brunt of the goddamn punishment. But depending on how a guy drops a knee, he either lands on the kneecap or the way the knee is shaped or the way the guy does it or whatever. It's more of a flatness on the leg. And the point is that the knee pad below the knee actually protects the kneecap and the shin from being whanged on the mat. Am I explaining this all? It just depends on how you do it. Because some guys, when they drop the knee, the kneecap will come in contact with the goddamn mat. And other times, the way they do it, if you wear your knee pad on your upper shin and lower knee, it will still cushion everything and also potentially keep you from caving the guy's fucking head in or whatever. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense. I believe I also heard that part of Flair's reasoning was that he said that he had skinny calves and he wanted to cover them up with the knee pad.
Well, and there, I'm sure, he said, oh, you know what? That makes my legs look bigger too. But you wouldn't just leave your knee open to repeated damage over 40 years just to make your calves look bigger if it wasn't what was working for you to begin with.
It's even weird when you see someone with no knee pads or anything. Like Ron Garland out there.
And people didn't realize this because Lawler, all through his career, wore long tights, right? Instead of just trunks, short trunks, so you couldn't see his legs. But in the 70s, in the 80s, into the 1990s, 25 plus years, I believe, into his career is when he started wearing knee pads. On all those old Memphis rings where the padding was worn out indoor-outdoor carpeting over plywood or 1x12 boards, time after time doing the fist drop off the second rope or even off the top rope, leaping knee drops, all the other shit he did. He never wore knee pads and he never had a goddamn knee surgery in his life. And he probably wrestled more matches of some description or another than anybody in wrestling after 1980 because of the way he just never quit. And it was at like a fan fest or something in the modern era within the last 20, 25 years that I saw him putting on these big ass knee pads, big thick ones. And I said, King, I said, what, you? He said, yeah. He said, it's finally come to this. But for all the, I don't know how he did it. Just tights, bare knees. And the thing that looked like a knee pad on those old tights was just K&H would sew those on because that way you wouldn't wear through the knee area. It was just an extra layer of material. There was no padding to it at all. And then the other guys get in the ring in the first week in training, they fucking blow their knee out. I don't know how these things happen.